Hey, what's up, everybody? 4 people who view my video. It's perfectly fine. I'll take the 4 people over the 0 and the bot. If you're reading the title of this video, then I'm going to tell you, and you clicked on it, there's going to be some spoilers for the crappy. It's not that bad. It's bad. It's bad. He-Man Revelations. I just figured, everybody else was taking a shit on it. I might as well. Also. So, to get into it, spoilers. He-Man dies in the first 5 minutes of this fucking show. And he doesn't come back until the last episode. Now, I didn't know it was only 5 episodes. So this is from the same studio that did Castlevania. The Netflix Castlevania TV show. So that's how they did it. That's how they did Castlevania too. I think they did 4 episodes, and that's when they came back with the full 13-minute seasons. For the rest of the show's run. I'm annoyed that they ended I think they ended Castlevania to work on this. Because Castlevania was good. So anyway, basically every review of this show is going to tell you how it's woke, no He-Man, no Skeletor, and that's the biggest problem. Yeah, that's all I can really say. Like, that is the biggest problem. Because people read, I guess they got the scripts early or something, and they said, hey, why don't you call the show Tila, because He-Man's not in it? And they all, I don't like to shit on Kevin Smith because it's easy. So it kind of like, because not only is it easy, but like I like the guy. I listen to his shows. I have all his movies. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is one of my all-time favorite movies, not because it's the best writing, but it's just it's over the top, it's crazy, it's stupid, it's memorable. I like that movie. It's something I watch when it's like, I need something stupid to watch. Jay and Silent Bob. Why not? Snooch to the nooch. But when you, I knew, if you didn't tell me Kevin Smith had written this show, the first 5 minutes with the, banter between Tila and Adam in the first, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is Kevin Smith. He's going to try to push some lesbian nonsense on someone, because that's what he loves. It's always got to be some kind of gay lesbian or female empowerment. It's fine. It's not a big deal if you want to make it about female empowerment. Absolutely, there. That's fine. Don't call the show He-Man. This would have been a better... If they had made this, the second season, I think it would have been completely fine. I don't think anybody would have complained if this was the second season. Because you get people in with He-Man. That's the point. So, spoilers once again. You killed He-Man. The first fucking episode. So that being said, it's got Kevin Smith, the stench of dank weed and horrible ideas is just all over this. Ever since I blame Seth Rogen for crappy Kevin Smith movies, I don't blame Kevin Smith, because Seth Rogen was the one who got him back into pot, and ever since he started smoking pot again, his movies were good. They weren't oh my god, good, but it was okay, this is a good, Chasing, if you watch Chasing Amy, it holds up now. It's a good movie. Dogma's alright. Jersey Girl sucks, but like this Jersey Girl. I thought Zack and Miri was hilarious, but also I don't really like Seth Rogen too. I only really saw it because I saw that Mewes was in it, and I was like, okay, I'll watch this. Like, the fact that Jason Mewes isn't in He-Man is also upsetting to me, just because Jay should have been some kind of character, and it would have elevated it a little bit for him to like curse out some dude and then like see him, even if he was just leaning against Castle Grayskull, that would have been fine. Little nod. Okay, cool. There's a little nod. There's an idiot. There's two idiots hanging out on Castle Grayskull for no reason, even though it's you're not allowed to be there. So with that being said, the voice acting is crap. It's really bad. So one of my least favorite characters of Castlevania was Saint Germain, because I thought his voice actor was like trying to be too over the top. Like the fake acting guy, you know, the guy who he was on Tosh.0. He did one of the White Redemptions where he's like, he kind of acts like how what the hell's his name? Why can't I remember William Shatner's name? He kind of like talks like that, like with the weird accent that doesn't like sound real, and he's stiff. It's very stiff. The first couple episodes, like, the acting is just trash. Like, you can tell these characters don't care. These people don't care about their character. They don't want to be involved with this shit. They're just getting a paycheck. Like, you can tell. The only character I thought that was good throughout was Orko. And that was basically it. Like, even Mark Hamill as Skeletor. Mark Hamill is Skeletor, and you kill him in the first episode? What the hell? What? Probably because he couldn't afford it. All that Netflix money can't afford Mark Hamill for 5 episodes to be your main villain. It's not even the main villain. That's probably the third complaint I would have. Is that, so this show was obviously just to launch the toy line. So every episode, there was a new character that they could obviously make a toy out of. Stinkor was the one guy. There was a vehicle that they sell. I think they sell now. It's a Beastman. Like, Beastman was in it. Beastman, actually, you know, Beastman's character was pretty good. His voice actor was pretty good, too. Because it's Beastman. You just go, I'm Beastman. 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 But Beastman. Anyway. So the whole story, because, you know, they got to kill He-Man in the first episode. So they kill He-Man in the first episode, right? The first episode of He-Man, Revelations, which of there is none. They kill He-Man. So, right there, first lie. Because they said, show's not about Teela, and the show's about fucking Teela. Maybe the show in general is not, but this first 5 episode season is. They do a lot of, like, really crappy tropes, too. Like, oh, I'm the robot guy, and I'm the, and that's fine, because that's He-Man. Everybody's got their own. I'm the guy with the really elongated neck, so I'm going to be the guy who sees things before, okay, like, you know what I mean? So, basically what they have to do, the sword breaks, He-Man's dead, the magic's leaving. Apparently, between the first episode and the second episode, the entire world falls apart. But it's only supposed to be a matter of maybe months. They find the king and queen. They didn't know that Adam was He-Man, and then the king, obviously, the queen knew, and then the king, who's clearly just a dildo king, kicks everybody out and threatens to murder everybody, and he gets mad because the whole time he was shitting on. And this is more of the Kevin Smith, the dad not appreciating things, but the mom knew, and dad's dick, and all that nonsense. So essentially, the I don't even know these characters' names because I was half paying attention, half playing. I downloaded the South Park Fractured Butthole game, and that was a lot more interesting to me than to watch this show. Because really, you knew what was going to happen. You could tell every episode. Because they did it in every episode, almost. So, first episode, He-Man sacrifices himself to save everybody. Literally. Second episode, they go decide they're putting the team together. Third episode, they go to hell. They go to hell. Some version of Skeletor. So you're supposed to believe that Skeletor and He-Man are dead, right? So Skeletor is now in hell, and he wants all the fear of Teela, and it's the only way he's going to give her the sword, because I guess the sword split into the good and evil side of the sword. So they're going to get the sword, so they go to hell, and Skeletor, demon monster, is like, yeah, I want that fear, son. So then Orko sacrifices himself, because they do a whole story about how he's a shit, and he's the worst magician ever, and all the other elves, or whatever the hell he was, make fun of him, because he had a speech impediment, which is more of the Kevin Smith influence. I couldn't tell. I know if you listen to Fat Man Beyond, the guy he does Fat Man Beyond with, Mark Woodard, he had written some of these episodes, and I was waiting for the, like, black people in Eternia are oppressed because black people, blah, blah, black people, black people, black people. But they didn't do that, so I was happy with that. Because if you ever listen to Fat Man Beyond, literally, everything Mark Woodard says is black people, black people, black people, black people. It's basically Luke Cage. Black people, black people, black people. Oppression. Black people, black people, black people, black people. White people are bad. Black people, black people, black people, you know. We get it. You're black. And you like black things. We get it. We get it. It's fine. Nobody cares. Just don't lie. What you do. You make shit up. See, Mark Bernard is the kind of person, and I'll get into this in a second. Well, might as well. I'll give you the example. So, the original He-Man, his name is Grayskull. Castle's named after him. He's black. Nobody cares. The only people who care that he's black are black people who care about color, and that's all they care about. And the woke, like, who are saying, yes, he's black, thank God. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. There's comic book, there's articles on websites that He-Man's first ancestor is black, and black, 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 that makes He-Man black. No. That's not how it works. And they literally explain it 2 seconds later. So anyway, so Mark Bernard's the kind of person who, if the character Grayskull was originally black and they made him white, would throw a temper tantrum that you're changing the original story. But when they want to make a white character black, it's completely fine. That's the kind of person he is. He's not really a good guy. He's not a good writer either. Oh, he wrote that shitty Stephen King TV show for Hulu. What's Castle Rock? Okay, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Sorry. I didn't watch it. I don't know anybody who watched it. So, sucks to suck. I don't know. But, anyway, that's kind of race baiting shit that he pulls. Nobody cares that Grayskull's black. Certainly, at least nobody that I've talked to cares. Oh, did you see Grayskull black? Yeah, sure. Who cares? He's black. Whatever. It's not a big deal. It's really not. So, that being said, Orko kills himself, and then Man-at-Arms, who's voiced by Saint Germain for some reason from Castlevania, who I thought for sure was going to be voiced by Kevin Smith because he looks fucking just like him, and they drew him to look almost like a buff Kevin Smith. Which would have been better, in my opinion. Not because it would have been better, but it would have been like, oh, it's not this crappy stale voice actor, it's just this crappy guy who, but I guess he didn't want to look like one of those people who puts himself in his movies and the whole center of his movies around him. So, I like Kevin Smith movies. I think they're stupid. But anyway, Man-at-Arms is like, that's the other thing that kind of annoys me, is that Teela becomes the Man-at-Arms, but the Man-at-Arms are just the soldiers, so it's Men-at-Arms, but she Man-at-Arms, but then there's like hundreds of thousands of faceless Man-at-Arms, and you're like, wait a minute, I thought there was only one, and the whole point of the show is that the Masters of the Universe were the ones who... But now there's random foot soldiers, and Skeletor has an army of random foot soldiers. What? And I really wasn't into He-Man. I watched the 2005 reboot on Cartoon Network that came out with Transformers Armada, in a 2-part movie that they said, oh, this is a movie, but then it was just the first 2 episodes. So I didn't really... I could be wrong. I'm not a big fan. So Orko kills himself, right? And then Man-at-Arms, he has a son, but he's a robot. Now, I don't know about this robot. I don't know who he is. He's a robot. So they go to heaven. Orko sacrifices himself. I forgot to mention that Beastman and Evil Lyn are in the party of Teela and other character whose name I don't remember. So at this point, Orko died. There's the robot, Evil Lyn, Beastman, and what the fuck's her name? Teela and random other girl. That's basically it. I'm pretty sure that's everybody. Somewhere in the middle, they fight the guy with the 3 eyes. I think his name is Triclops, which is obviously very lazy. But he's an original character from the 70s, so what do you expect? And they're trying to turn everything techno-organic because there's no magic and science prevails over... I don't know, it's a wasted third plot for the end of the last episode. Because they beat his ass every single time. like, oh, I'm gonna get you, and then they just beat his ass. He doesn't really have any lines. He says 2 or 3 things. He's got 2 other guys. Like the other thing about this show too is like they just kill characters. Like that lobster dude. There's a lobster dude. He just gets smited in the first episode by He-Man. I'm pretty sure, but I can't remember. Anyway, because honestly I wasn't really paying attention. But like the one dude who looks like Baron von Underbite from, because that's who I could relate it to from the Venture Brothers. He gets a circular saw in his head and just dies. And I'm like, oh fuck. But then he's back in the next episode and he's blind in one eye. And you're like, oh, I thought he died. Because getting a circular saw into the brain is usually fatal. But I digress. Anyway, so they get to heaven. And Dio is... Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong... Sorry. They get to heaven, and then Prince Adam's there. And he's like, oh, it's Prince Adam. What are you doing here? You're alive? And he's like, no, you fucking idiot. You're in heaven. By the way, you cannot leave. Like, oh, well, shit. And that's when they say, we gotta go find Grayskull, because he's the first He-Man. And then they're like, oh, did you know that the hero is here? And you're like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh, I know. Remember the hero? Oh, yeah, I remember. And you're like, wait a minute. I don't remember. Who the fuck? Are you saying that He-Man is here? Is that what you're trying to say? Like, they split personalities? It's like, no, it's just another guy who had the power sword before Adam, and another guy. And then there's, like 5 other people who had the power sword before Prince Adam, and you're like, oh. They're just saying it's another guy. Because they're like, oh, hero, I name a hero, he did this. And you're like, oh, I don't remember. Don't remember. So you meet all the previous He-Men, and then they show you Grayskull, and he rides a Triceratops, which puts the rest of them to shame because it's a giant Triceratops, and they're just riding on little dumb things. And then there's which didn't make any sense to me. So here's another problem. There's a female He-Man there. And then you say, well, wait a minute, female He-Man. Who are you? And she doesn't speak any kind of English. She just kind of makes words. She kind of talks like Babu Frick. Like, what? Like kind of like Spanglish, if you will. So she's there. Grayskull's there. It's another guy's there, and then there's kind of like a Viking guy who has a weird accent. I kind of would have rather had the woman whose name I can't remember from Castlevania, the girl who Trevor is boning. I don't remember her name. She would have been better voice actor for Teela, I think, just because Teela was a whiny bitch. Whoever played Teela was like, I'm a feminist, and I need to get this across that I don't trust men or anyone. Because she's salty with Adam because he didn't tell her that she was He-Man. That makes sense. Yeah. She didn't tell her. He didn't tell her that he was He-Man, and that hurt her feelings, and now she's mad, and nothing you can do will make me forgive you. Oh, okay. So then Prince Adam just gives her the other sword, and then the robot guys, they brought him because he's apparently the Man-at-Arms is the only person who can forge things. Didn't know this, because Teela's Man-at-Arms, right? First episode, she gets promoted to captain of the Man-at-Arms. So you're like, oh, okay, yeah, she can... Nope. Only the original guy can make things. So it's okay. Robot sacrifices himself to create the sword again, which honestly was kind of dumb. They should have kept it as 2 swords. Then you could have had, 2 people have done it. But no, we can't do that. That messes with the continuity. Okay. So, puts the sword back together. The robot dies. And as he's dying, he's like, I feel fear. Thus, I am alive. Oh no, I'm dead. And then he dies. So I was like, okay, that's some more Kevin Smith writing right there. This is why the show's ass. It's just trope, which is fine. But there's no He-Man, and that's the problem. So they find Grayskull. He tells them, "Oh yeah, you guys can get out of heaven, just like Dio, and you guys can go back. But since you guys aren't dead, you can just go." And then Prince Adam, he's like, "I'm He-Man. I gotta do it." And this is where they explain that it doesn't matter who the fuck the original He-Man was, if he was black or white or whatever, because they're not fucking related, because they're just fucking the same person. So there's no relation here to the fucking guy. So he says anyone can be He-Man. There will be more before. There was He-Man before you. There'll be He-Man after you. Setting up that I think they're gonna make Teela into a kind of He-Man, which would have been fine if they didn't already have She-Ra on Netflix. So it's like, there's no point to you doing this. It's stupid. So anyway, they go back and they tell Adam, oh, if you fucking leave, you bitch-ass motherfucker, you might not be able to come back because, you did some shit as He-Man and that gave you the ability to do it. But if you do some more shit as He-Man, obviously that's not going to give the ability to come back. Which doesn't make any sense. Because if he's He-Man and he does more He-Man things and saves the world a whole bunch more times, he should earn the right to go back to heaven. But anyway, which is stupid. Which anyway, so Adam's like, nah, F that, bro. I don't need to be human. I don't need to go to heaven with you 5 guys. Which is totally fine, I guess. So he goes back to Earth, and they're like, oh yeah, Adam, you're gonna become He-Man? And he's like, hell yeah, I'm gonna become He-Man. And then Skeletor comes out and stabs him, and he dies again. And you're like, you fucking kidding me? Meanwhile, Triclops attacks Castle Grayskull again with his army, and Man-at-Arms basically beats most of them. Not important, really, because I think his helmet's dumb. But anyway, yeah, Skeletor stabs Adam as he's about to transform into He-Man. He says, "Tee, get stabbed, son." And then Evelyn and Beastman are like, "Oh shit, Skeletor, what's up?" And he's like, he doesn't want any spoo. And then that's the joke. Anyway, and they're like, "Oh shit, well, fuck these guys, I guess." Which is also fine, because if you, like I said, I watched the 2005 remake. That's the kind of crap they pulled all the time. Oh, help us, evil person, because you're not really that bad. And they're like, yeah, we're not really that bad. And then Skeletor's like, get over here, you're evil. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna go back over there and be evil. And then 2 episodes later, they're fucking fighting each other again. So, okay. So anyway, Skeletor says, give me that sword, bitch. He takes the sword. He says that I have the power, crap. And then he becomes a giant-ass Skeletor. And then it ends. And everybody's like, oh no, giant-ass Skeletor. And then it ends. And that's the end of the first season. With Adam bleeding out because he got stabbed in the stomach, which I'm assuming he'll be fine from, because they really, really, really can't kill him again. Especially after this backlash that they got from killing him in the first episode. So anyway, that's basically everything that happens. 5 episodes. They kill off Orko. They kill off a robot. Which, honestly, killing Orko was a pretty big surprise for me. Not because it was, oh, they killed Orko, or, no, they killed the lobster guy. Okay. Orko's a pretty important character to this show, I think. Well, actually, he doesn't actually die. He sucks himself into some kind of prison with the Skeletor zombie guy. And then they're all like, oh, Skeletor, where'd you come from? He's like, oh, I had to hide some of my soul in your crystal orb, and that's how I survived. Really? And they're like, oh, okay. Nobody says, like, wow, that's dumb. That's stupid. Like, a lot of this show is a lot of the problem is, well, Kevin Smith was lead on the story, and nobody was there to tell him between puffs of weed that was a bad idea, because they were all sitting there with their contact highs. Oh yeah, this is a really good idea. This is a really good idea. This is a good idea too. And it took this show like 2 years to come out, and they only got 5 episodes. I could have swore he said he had a 13 episode commitment. But either way, it's 5 friggin' episodes with horrible acting that took me out of it a ton of times. The voice for Grayskull was good. The 2 other He-Men the 3 other He-Men in heaven were okay. Skeletor was Mark Hamill, so the guy who played Prince Adam was kind of like they made Prince Adam into like a cuck. Like, he's literally like this scrawny cuck, which is, it's Prince Adam. He's not supposed to be, the buffest of the buff dudes, but he's also he's like a little whiny bitch. Like, I like the other one where he's like a surfer guy. He's like, whoa, I'm He-Man, man. What are you gonna do? I sound like a Ninja Turtle. And you talk like a Ninja Turtle. But he's like this scrawny ass little dude. He's like, yeah, sure, anybody can be He-Man. Right? That's the whole point. But, this was trash. This whole thing was trash. It was a trash fire to begin with. It was a trash fire over the internet. Critics love it. Why? Because it's woke. Female lead. There's highly important characters that were race swapped or originally supposed to be, or just the fact, oh, they got a ton of diversity in it. Oh yeah, no problem. Diversity's fine. Nobody cares. Literally nobody cares, except for the critics who say that diversity was a big part of why they gave it a good score. The only thing it was missing was like an on-screen lesbian action, and it would have been complete in the Kevin Smith mythos, the trifecta of Kevin Smith. I don't see them getting another season, and if they do, it'll be because it's already made. And I think it'll die with that. Not just because it was bad, but because I know the people who like He-Man are very passionate about He-Man. But then you got the whole, the Kevin Smith, because you don't see, everybody wants to take a dump on Trump for a dump on Trump. Everybody wants to take a dump on Trump for his Twitter. He's just as bad. Kevin Smith is just as bad as Trump. He just doesn't say it in a way that sounds mean. Oh, I don't mind a bunch of whiny guys complaining on the internet about... Okay, so you just called everybody who disagrees with your show a bunch of whiny losers. Okay. And then he doesn't even talk about the show. It's, I'm filming Clerks 3 tomorrow.
Incoming call. Press the pickup button.
Anyway.
Incoming call. Press the pickup button.
My wife's calling me.
Incoming call.
So, I'll end the video here with,
incoming call.
I don't know, like 1 star for He-Man Revelations. I'll do some
incoming call.
Whatever stars. And
incoming call. Press the pickup button to answer.
Don't watch it.
Incoming
Don't watch it. It was bad. Hit the buttons, like and subscribe, like incoming call.